Hey guys, Jeff with Top Star Mobile Detailing Las Vegas. We're here in San Diego at the KCX Koshemi Experience. I'm here with my good friend Josh. You might know him as IMJoshV.
That's right.
Or IMJoshV on YouTube. We were just talking about that. How do you pronounce it? How do you say it?
For me, it's IMJoshV. I was just saying how I'll try and spell it out for people, and I'll say I am JoshV, but it still sounds like I am.
Yeah. So we're here with Josh, and we're here in his new shop. Actually, he just moved in here. How long
June,
ago?
so I guess 6-7 months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
And prior to that, you had another shop.
I did.
Somewhere in this area.
Yeah,
right?
in San Diego County. It was. I had moved my home.
Yeah.
And that turned in from a 15-minute commute to the shop to a 45-minute commute to the shop. So this one's much closer to where I'm at now.
And so for some of those people that may not know you out there, I'm sure the majority of the people in the detailing community have an idea of who you are. You know, you're pretty popular on YouTube. How long have you been detailing for now? And like, how'd you get started into the detailing industry?
I started when I grew up surfing my whole life, had sponsors, was getting paid a little bit to surf. So that was my dream, right? To be a professional surfer. I was never quite good enough to go top level, so I was
Kelly Slater.
No. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. It's so funny. Like I was good, and then when you go to places and you surf with those guys and you see them, you're like, oh
I'm
man,
not that good.
I'm terrible. Yeah, it's a whole nother level. It's insane. So I was getting paid a little bit to surf though, and I was on a trip in Mexico. Came back. I was there for a month. Came back, and my main sponsor had dropped their whole men's program. So now no more income. And,
so you either had to like show up as like a woman surfer, or figure out something else.
The brand was called Aaron Chang. He was a big famous surf photographer. Yeah.
I lived in Hawaii for a while.
Oh, there you go.
So,
perfect.
Yeah, on Oahu, so I'm
very nice.
Familiar.
Yeah, that's kind of where he was one of the first guys to swim out the pipeline, with the water housing and so we started. Their women's program kept going because they did a lot of bikinis and stuff with different photo stuff on them. But yeah, they dropped their men's program, and I had to figure out what to do. So I'm looking online. Again, it was about 20 years ago. So I'm looking online. All the jobs are, $9 an hour or whatever.
Yeah, not great.
And I don't want to do them. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. Decided just to go surf and clear my mind. And as I'm driving down, a mobile detailer went by me. And after my surf, I went home, researched that, and then started about a week later. So it's been 19, 20 years now.
Wow, that's could be a sales call. No, let me just.
Did you get those?
No, I'm not gonna take it on this one. Yeah. Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, good. Let our answer.
Top Star Detailing. This is Jeff.
Hey Jeff, my name is John. I've been trying to make an appointment online, but it won't let me add secondary things, so I figured I'd give you a call.
Okay. When you say secondary things, what are you looking to add on?
The pet hair removal.
Okay. And how bad is the pet hair? What type of vehicle are you booking?
It's a Toyota Highlander, and the pet hair isn't as bad as you would think, considering it's a Husky, because we have seat covers that most of the hair goes onto anyway.
Okay. So are you going to be removing the seat covers, or do you want those detailed as well?
No, we can remove the seat covers. They're washable, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say probably the best idea is to take those off, and then you can wash those separately. And then what are you looking to get done on the Highlander, like a full detail?
Yeah, the executive full detail.
Okay.
Inside and out. Yep.
Oh, okay. And then did you already pick out a day and time that works best for you?
The 27th at 11.
Okay. Just looking at the schedule now for that. So that's a Monday, right?
This coming Monday.
Yep, Monday. Yeah, it looks like we're pretty open on that. So you can, if you want to just continue to book it online. I can actually just add on the pet hair when I get there. And usually what I do is I'll take a look at the pet hair first. I usually rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. If it's less than a 5, I'll usually just throw it in for you, provided that you don't need me to get every single strand of hair out. Are you most likely going to have the dog back in the vehicle again?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if it's less than a 5, I usually don't charge for it. If it's closer to a 10, where it's going to take me significantly more time to complete the detail, then I would have to charge a little bit for that. So I can kind of feel that out once I get there for you.
Okay, and I just booked it. I just booked the details, so I don't know how fast your system is. But...
I'm just going back in and refreshing here. Saturday, Sunday. Yep, I got it. I got you on the schedule for Monday at 11. Was there any gate code for entry?
There is. I don't know how much room you need, but it's probably best to do it outside the complex.
Okay. Is it an apartment complex?
It is, but there's plenty of space on the streets, and I've seen a bunch of other people do their car wash stuff on the road.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah. What apartment complex is it? Just so I.
Solana.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah, that's fine. We can work on like a side street or something like that off of Post Road over there, just so it's not too tight in the community.
Yeah, if you just give me a call, I can bring the car to you.
Okay.
Since it's right there.
Perfect. Well, you're all set up for 11 a.m. So anyways, I didn't mean to just cut in the middle, but that's the way that it goes in the mobile detailing
we're running
business.
actual businesses
Yeah,
here,
you're running actual businesses. If Josh gets a call, then we'll take that one and go live too if he wants to. But so we left off. You had the choice of either going to work for like a Billabong or something, or you were like, I'm going to go into detailing.
That's actually an interesting thing. So because I did have relationships within the action sports industry and stuff, so when I first started my detailing business, I also started working with a brand called Reef Sandals.
Yeah.
So I was working for them, but it was a good balance because I would be here for 3 months, and then I would go to the Caribbean for about a month and we'd do 12 to 15 islands each time. And then be back for 3. That's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was the thing too. Is like, both were going okay, right? Neither of them I was making a killing with, so they're both going okay. And I'm really trying to figure out where do I go? Which avenue do I go?
Yeah.
And then I finally landed my first big client that needed me on a weekly basis. So it's like, okay, well now I can't leave for a month. Right? Yeah. Those other ones you could schedule around it and deal with it, but. He needs me every week, and just decided to go all in and then start building it out from there.
Yeah, and now here you are. You got a nice shop.
Yeah.
You got a major chemical line here doing a training here at the facility. So I mean that's pretty cool. And then so you also have another stream of income with YouTube too,
Absolutely.
right? So I mean you're pretty big on that. Now, when did you start with the whole YouTube?
Officially, I guess I started the YouTube channel. Initially, I started it just to help promote the business, right? So I had made a couple of videos probably 10 years ago. But then I actually started thinking okay, let me actually try and build a YouTube channel. It was probably 5-ish years ago, something like that. And started when I very early on videos was similar to it's just
how-to type stuff.
Really more POV camera, working through a car, looking for those disaster details, even though I freaking hate them. They're the worst, right?
Yeah.
But visually,
get the views.
Exactly. So did that, and then I filmed, and those were okay. It was trickling along. Obviously, new channel, and then I finally showed my setup for my mobile and or how to set up a budget-friendly one with. It was I think it was a 35-gallon water tank, Ryobi. Back then it was the 1600 psi pressure washer.
Yeah.
Just did the whole schematic on how to build it out, and that video got way more views. So I was like, okay, well let me go a little deeper on the pressure washer stuff, and those kind of went, and that was really kind of the catalyst to kind of building out the channel.
Yeah. Would you remember any specific videos that were maybe somewhat of a viral video for you that really just took off and was a kind of a game changer?
Honestly, no.
Or it's just more everything's kind of a steady evergreen type content?
Yeah, exactly. Ever since, to this day, I still don't have a video that has over 1 million views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and there's some people that'll get one and it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my highest one's at maybe 800,000 now, but that was
That's getting there.
It's getting there, but it's a few years old.
Yeah.
So it's
It's crazy how it works though. Even over time, that video still getting videos, still getting videos.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really great.
So how often are you still making content now? Is it something you try to stay on a consistent schedule with? Or?
Yeah. So I do Wednesdays and Saturdays. I post at 6 a.m. When I was building the channel, I was detailing 40 to 60 hours a week kind of a deal, and then filming 3 videos on top of that.
Wow.
When I was first building, so
that's a lot. And you do everything yourself, with the editing and all that stuff too? Or?
Yeah. Wow. It's literally tripod up, moving the camera around, all that stuff, editing thumbnails, the SEO on the back end of YouTube. Yeah, all of it.
That's a lot. And I noticed here you got like set up for a podcast too. So are you
exactly. So I just
well?
started a little podcast. I have one episode currently up. It's called the Under Pressure Podcast. So it kind of ties in. I wanted to talk about like, running your own business.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure with that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then ties into the pressure washers and stuff as well. So I was like, that'll
it.
be a good name. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a catchy name.
Yeah,
for sure.
so it's been good. It's been fun. Like we've been able to film a couple here, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I feel like the editing's easier because you can just watch it through and just make little edits throughout, and it's cool. You get a deeper side of people and really get to see more stuff. So
how did you end up connecting with Coach Kemi, with that brand?
So my buddy actually, before he's at KCX now, Casey Bramley, we handled the West Coast in the past. Before he was even working with them, he had used some of the products. He's like, dude, you got to check this stuff out. So I started using it and started loving it. My initial impression, which I think is the misconception for a lot of people, my initial impression was that it was expensive.
Yeah.
Like maybe the cost of the bottle, but the dilution ratios are so insane that the price per use is actually a lot cheaper than most, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started going in deeper and deeper with it. On the YouTube side of things, I didn't ever want, people still think I get paid by brands. I don't. Like sometimes I'll do like a little 90-second read for like Factor Meals or something like that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times people think I get paid from the brands. So I wanted to, that's why I opened up my own online store. It's like I actually buy inventory and I can monetize it that way, but it's not, it's because I believe in the product.
Right.
So
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you have any like advice for detailers that are just kind of getting into the business, like from your experience and being in the industry for such a long time?
I think for anybody, it's knowing your worth, and in the beginning you don't know.
Yep.
And you take those jobs that are terrible and you're not charging enough.
Yep.
And I think we've probably all started that way.
I think it's part of the business.
It
too.
is.
It's part of learning and growing, right?
And learning what you don't want to do, right?
Yeah. You almost have to go through that phase and take the beatings, you know what I mean? And like, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if I do, I'm going to charge this much more and make sure I'm getting paid for it.
There's nothing worse when you give the price and you're working through it and it's taking way longer and you're sitting there thinking, this isn't. I almost want to just stop here and say, it's halfway done, no charge, but I'm not finished.
Have you had any like circumstances like that?
Yeah, I'm sure I have. Never where I actually do that, but in my head, I'm like just angry at myself for putting myself in that position.
I had one just this last week. I was doing some semi trucks at the convention center in Las Vegas, and when I had originally like set up the quote with the person that I was working with, I was under the impression that we would be washing everything outside in the parking lot with pressure washers and all that, and they had driven these trucks in from Canada, so they were covered in road salt and all this, right? So I get there, and I'm like, hey, so we're here out in the parking area, like where are the trucks at, And she's like, oh no, they're already inside the convention center, staged inside. There's no way to get them out, right? And so she's like, yeah, they're gonna have to be detailed like inside. And I'm like, so what, we're just gonna like rinseless wash these two semi trucks that just drove in from Canada, so we're like schlepping buckets of water back and forth from the parking lot to the convention center. And it was one of the few times where actually I did adjust the quote because of it wasn't my error in this. Like had I have priced it and got there and they were outside and I was just like, oh, I want more money, I wouldn't do that, right? But since they changed the dynamic of the job to where it's like, hey, we're not able to do what we were going to do before, and this is going to involve significantly more work and more time. So, I did have to have that kind of uncomfortable conversation and just be like, look, the extra time, workload, we are going to have to charge, it's going to be almost double for what we had quoted you
How'd
before.
they take that?
She was okay with it. She understood, you know what I mean?
She should have let you know that.
And I'm like, honestly, we'll be lucky if we can finish these by the end of the day. And their show was the morning. So I'm like, you're not gonna have time to get someone else out here and all this. Like we're gonna be working on this until whenever they kick us out of here, basically. You know.
Did it work out for you? Like, did you have anything else booked after that?
I had to push. I had 2 more appointments that I had to push to later in the week. Luckily, they were understanding of it all, and you know, I gave one of them a little discount to make that work out for you. But it does happen sometimes, and it's just one of those things. It's like how you adapt to it, right, and how you adjust to those things.
Yeah, definitely.
So
can I ask, with your like, because you do a lot of online bookings, right? So people could like, if that guy didn't call, you just would have been like, okay, Monday, this is what I'm doing. Do you ever like how much time do you block out for each?
So mine are all, their time block to each service is going to take a certain amount of time, right? And they have to have at least a 2-hour notice before they can book, right? So like if I'm, say, you know, doing something now and there's a gap, they can't just book from like 15 minutes from now and I have to be there, right? So there is a 2-hour window, which when I'm in Vegas, it's no problem. I have guys there now that are subcontracting work out for me while I'm here in San Diego. But I'm pretty available available during my business hours from 7 a.m. in the winter to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. In summer, it's 7 to 7, 7 days a week. So I'm pretty.
Sorry, winter you're 7 to
5.
5. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because it's dark at 5. And then summer it's 7 to 7, but usually I'm actually working till like 8:30, 9 o'clock, till whenever the sun goes down. But I don't have a wife and kids, so it's not like I have these obligations to where like it really interferes. So I just kind of make my schedule available to like whenever it's convenient for them. As long as I have a 2-hour window, I'm going to the job, you know, and it makes it super easy as far as like website bookings. I'd say I probably get 25% of my bookings are through the website.
Really? So you never talk to them?
Never talk to them. And those people that book through the website, they actually said, you know, one of the reasons I chose your business was because of that. Because after COVID, it changed, right? A lot of people are more introverted now, right? Like they don't like talking to people and negotiating and all that stuff. They just want to go in, see the options, pick their package, book it, and they don't have to pay until the service is completed. So I keep it as low barriers as possible, where you don't need to make deposits and all that stuff, unless I'm doing like a ceramic coating that involves me ordering product and all that. But for the most part, I get a lot of bookings through the website, and then the rest would be calls.
Okay.
You know.
Do you have a text line?
Where they can just text in?
Yeah.
Just my personal.
Okay.
Yeah, my personal.
I started putting that on my website, like, you know, phone number and then text line. And 80% of people text now.
Do you?
It was a similar thing. Like it's easier for them than calling.
Do you have a separate line for your business and your personal? Phone?
Well, yes. So I use an app, and within the app you get a number. It all comes directly to myself, you know. But there is I don't call it ghost number or whatever else that keeps it separate. Yeah, and then
That's
it's all within
one thing
the app.
I didn't do from the beginning was that, and now so it's like my personal and my business is the same. So at some point, I think I'm going to have to probably get a second line for my personal.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to change after all the SEO. You don't want to
change the business now, but I'm going to have to. I didn't anticipate that. Like looking back on it now, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Of course, at some point it was going to be an issue, you know. So I did screw that up for sure. But yeah, what other questions do you have?
For your range of Vegas, are you going everywhere? So do you like a lot of work like Summerlin area, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the 3 main areas in Vegas, you've got Summerlin, which is on the west side of town. You've got Henderson, which is on the east side of town. And then what's Vegas is in the middle, and then there's like
the strip,
north, south. Okay. Yeah, so, but the Vegas area is basically that whole market, right? Which is around, I want to say around 30 to 40 mile square radius.
Okay.
Everything fits in there, and then it's surrounded by mountain ranges. So it can only build out to the mountains. So I service anywhere within that radius.
Got it.
But my SEO dominates pretty much the west side. So like Summerlin to the edge of Vegas, to North Vegas, to South Vegas, but not so much in the Henderson side. I'm still struggling to kind of break into that market where I get maybe 1 out of 25, 1 out of 50 or something, you know what I mean? Like in the Henderson market.
And how far is that commute for you?
It's not that
traffic
far.
though can
Yeah,
be kinda
yeah.
crazy, right?
It's probably 15 to 20 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not anything really bad.
Yep.
It's just tough breaking in. Like I don't know what it is about the SEO that I'm having trouble getting into that.
It's just not as effective for you as
No.
Okay.
And I mean, my home base is in the Summerlin market, like where the business is set up.
Yep. So really that works for you anyway.
Yeah,
honestly.
I tried building out a landing page for Henderson on my website, you know, but so far I haven't really seen too much difference on that side.
That's one thing I did. So when I first initially started my site, I SEO'd everything to San Diego.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of competition doing that, right?
Yeah.
So then I specifically went after smaller territories that I knew were pretty affluent and had some
Yeah.
money, and even created a website, like even the domain name would have that area in it, and then it would still all forward to my other site, but it was 2 different lead gens. And
Did you set up different Google pages for those?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's what I'm looking at doing with Henderson now, and I'm actually looking at like getting a place in Henderson too, because you can't just do it to like a PO box.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
So
they'll fly. Yeah.
you need a
Yeah.
physical address
Yep.
there. So.
There is a way to do it without it. I've seen, because I've seen some guys that aren't in that area. They don't have a fixed location. They're just mobile, and they're still
Yeah.
ranking high. They're not number 1 like I am because of that.
Which you know we're mobile, so like I don't have a fixed shop
Right.
either, right? So, but you do have to put in a physical address when you're building out your Google page. It makes you put in a residential address or a shop.
Does it still? Because I think isn't there usually a toggle you can hit that just says we're a...
It doesn't show it. It doesn't show.
anymore,
It doesn't
okay.
show the address to like your customers of your actual
Gotcha.
home, but you need it for their records of like where your IP address is based from
Understood.
and all that.
Okay.
So, you know, I have that set up in like that area within a 5-mile radius of that. I'm like top 1 or 2 no matter where
Yeah.
you're at in that area.
Yeah.
But once you branch out of that,
You start
it
dropping.
tapers off,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I do have a guy moving out here, you know, in a couple months, and I'm gonna probably set up another location in Henderson with a whole second mobile unit, and then build out a Google page, and then
Specific.
a specific.
Yeah. Are you running it so like your current location that it doesn't show, but is just your home location?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So that's legit. I mean, that's all set up. You know what I mean? And then the legit way to do it would be have a second
Yeah.
location where I'll put, you know, maybe my staff in that location,
Yep.
and build that out as the other business address. Yeah.
You can try. I don't. It's still not as good as the actual location, right? But the UPS stores don't show up as PO boxes.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be that address, suite number, whatever. So you can try that.
The main thing is I don't want to get flagged on my main account,
Yeah.
right? So
Fair.
so that's more important to me than, you know what I mean? It's
Well, so
like,
that's what I was. So,
Yeah.
so for mine, it's the secondary Google listing
yeah.
isn't the same business name. So it'll be like for you, it'd be Henderson Mobile Detailing.
Yeah.
So that it comes up, and then when they click on it to go to your site, it's your normal site.
Yeah.
Like it just forwards it over. But yeah, I get it because you do run the risk.
So I have
The SEO stuff's all-
Topstar Mobile Detailing Las Vegas is my actual business name, and that's
Yep.
what all my social media, my LLC, everything. So
Yep.
that one's good. It's the other one that I'm thinking doing like Topstar Mobile Detailing Henderson.
Yeah.
And then that one would be, I guess, the landing page that ties it to that. It's maybe, I don't know if I would need like social media and all that stuff with it too. The tricky thing is, do I get a separate number for that? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm really,
You can do so that's one that you could do a VPN. No,
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of? No, that's for internet safety. No, what's it called? Anyways, where you can call one number. Like if you wanted, you could set up an 800 number, and then
Yeah.
option 1 will be Henderson, option 2 will be Summerlin. You know,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. I don't know how well that works though, because I do feel like, especially when you're setting all those things up, right? You want to have consistency across the board. So
Yeah.
you kind of almost do want to have a dedicated number for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I really want to like focus on this year, besides expanding the business, you know, I'm at a point now where I do need to expand because I'm working 7 days a week, sunrise to sunset every day, and I'm booked out a week in advance. I've done multiple price increases where I'm at the peak of my like pricing structure for the market. And you can only go so far with that before clients are like, dude,
nope.
like, I'm gonna charge $1 bazillion for this, you know, and it's like, at some point you price yourself out, right?
For sure.
So, and I don't wanna do that. I wanna keep it fair for them too. So the next step for me, right now I'm subcontracting out work, but even with that, like I'm still where I need a second unit. And I wanna have that just in case something happens with mine, you know, I have that to fall back on. And I also want to be able to buy back some of my time now because I've been doing this now for 18, 19 months at that schedule, you know.
Really just nonstop the whole time.
Where 70 to 90 hours a week, and it's basically like, I don't want to say burning me out because I love detailing, but I don't love doing the manual part of it 70 to 90 hours a week. I want to be able to do that still like 30 to 40 hours a week for my high-end vehicles, still make content, but have some help that does the soccer mom cars full of husky hair and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like that. Like I want to have guys that can handle that stuff for me, and I'll do the nice Porsches and you know, Mercedes
all the fun
and
stuff
like that I enjoy, and it's fun, or unique situations that you want to make content on, where it's good for that as well. So, you know, that's kind of where I want to do with the business is to grow and expand, but pull myself out of from like working in the business to on the business somewhat. You know, I still want to keep my hands in both, but.
Yeah, that's how for me too. With the way the YouTube channel took off for me, I was able to get very selective on my detail work, right?
Yeah.
So I only have the clients that I really want to work with now.
Yeah.
But still, at the same time, it got to a point where I don't know. For me, it's like if I'm not pushing forward, I don't just stay still. I go backwards, right? So
the way it always is.
Yeah. So it's like it got to a point where
we either grow or we die, man.
Exactly.
You don't stay at the same level. Yep.
So, and my kids are younger. I have 2 daughters, and they're younger. So, like, that was the whole thing. I was like, okay, cool. I worked all the crazy hours in building the YouTube channel and stuff, and then it paid off, and now I could free my time up a lot. But again, it's like, you know, as the kids get older, now they're like, oh, we're doing our own thing. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can start pushing a little more again. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've definitely achieved a level of success with this that I know, you know, the majority of the detailers out there that are striving for. They want that both in the detailing side, some of them in the YouTube side too, you know. So
the good news is, I tell everyone this, I talk about it in my videos, legitimately, I'm a moron. Like, I have a hard time remembering things, like I really. And so like if I feel like I'm operating like the success level I'm operating at my max potential. But literally anybody can do, like, you can do it, you know? But
that, I mean, that's what's good about it. It's you're just being yourself, you're being authentic, right?
For sure.
You know, and especially now, I think with AI coming into the scene, there's all this like faceless channels where like the information's out there, but the context just isn't there. You don't have your life experiences or my life experiences that we could bring, you know, to that to make it unique and different from the AI content that's coming. And it's going to get flooded. Like the market, there's going to be like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of AI channels. So if you guys are watching this, right, and you do like content like Josh's or mine, not only do you want to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, you want to make sure that you hit the notifications bell, because as the market continues to get more flooded with these channels, it's going to get more watered down, and you might not see new releases. Even though you're subscribed, you might not see what Josh puts out or what I put out. So that being said, just make sure that you click that notification.
Yeah, if you're just on the homepage, it's like nothing.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
And it's going to get worse. It's going to get more watered down.
How many times
as
are you
we go.
watching YouTube and an ad comes up for how to create a faceless YouTube channel? You're like, what the heck?
It's coming. Crazy. Pretty much anyone can do that now, you know.
AI is crazy. It'll be interesting to see.
Are you using any level of AI in your business, like for automation type stuff?
I guess slightly. So the app that I use has like like after I'm done, payment is done, it'll automatically send, thank you so much for your business. My typical script is like, thank you so much for your business. Our business thrives on word of mouth. If you don't mind submitting a review, here's the link. That kind of stuff, and then it'll auto schedule and things like that as well.
What service are you using for that?
It's called Pocket Suite.
I've heard of that.
Pocket Suite, yeah. So I've used it forever, and it's like, again, they provide that. It's genius on their part. They provide that number for free when you sign up for them. Well, now it's like, well, if I want to leave them, it's like, well, then my number's gone. I can't have my number gone. It's pretty genius on their part.
And do they have all the data and stuff in there too? Like, does that track like your customers?
Yeah, it's all full CRM type deal. Yeah, I'm sure there's other ones that may be more comprehensive. Yeah. But again, I'm working on limited brain power, so I need to kind of
see, I got to figure that out as well too, because not only am I getting to the point where I have to scale, but as you do that, you have to figure out how to automate it some point.
For sure.
And I've been trying to hold on to because you don't want to sacrifice the quality of the personal contact with your customers, and I think they do really appreciate that, and it's what separates you from some of the other stuff out there. But at some point, I'm on the phone nonstop, texting back and forth,
and when you're in the middle of working on a car, that takes time.
It's getting to be a lot. So I'm gonna have to figure that side of it out soon, as to go some type of automated route for responses.
For mine, I have it where I'll even let the customer know, hey, 6 months time or whatever, I'll put a reminder in there. It'll send you an automated thing. You can just reach out and just as a constant reminder. And then same thing, I'll have, I think it's even just in the iPhone, you can just set it where someone's calling and I can just hit 111 or whatever, and then it'll auto-populate and it'll say, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I'm currently working on a car. I'll reach back out to you as soon as I'm done.
Just really cool.
Just it's always one of those things too where you're at a customer. If the customer's watching and then they see me on the phone talking to somebody about booking, I feel like they're like, hey, dude, this is my time right now. So you kind of want to walk that balance.
I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. Sometimes I'll be on the phone with somebody will pull up on scene and they're like, hey, and hey, and I'm like, hold on one sec, I'm just on the phone. And they're like, how much is it for a car wash or whatever? And I got one on the phone, and Ray's has been there, and he's helping me out.
Ray's, please help me.
And they're like, what are you guys doing? Are you making commercial or something? Now we're getting some stuff for YouTube. And I'm like, when you're done screwing around, can I get a card over here?
That's a great question for you, because I love that type of content, right? Where and I think people can really relate to it, right? Because you're in the business with you while you're going. Do you let people know that you're going to be how does that work?
So most of my customers, I will let them know, just to make sure that there's no issues. Plus, everyone's got a Ring camera in their driveway nowadays too, right? So,
for sure.
I don't want them being in the house going, what the hell are they doing out there? He's out there talking, and they got a tripod set up. So I'll usually just let them know, say, hey, is it okay with you if we film some content for the YouTube channel? We just make kind of educational stuff for other detailers that are just getting started, and it helps them out. And they're like, sure, no problem. I always say, hey, we're not going to show any personal info, no license plate, no address. Your name won't be on it or anything like that. So they're like, that's fine, do your thing.
And content creation is such a common thing now too, that I feel like people sometimes they're probably like, oh, cool.
I've had a few that got in the video with us too. They were like, oh, that's cool, and they were like, oh, they wanted to be in and talk a little bit. It's like their few minutes of fame there too. But I think the detailers do like that content, because it's real world scenario. That's what I'm trying to bring to them. It's, hey, this is what it's like out there on the front lines,
actually doing the work.
In the actual conditions. You've seen me out there in the summer when it's 115 degrees, working on a black car with a wrap on it, and that's life. You know what I mean? It's we're out there doing that stuff in the winter. We're out there in the freezing cold, and I got ice on the roof of cars, and it's part of the business. And adapt. The landscapers will show up in the middle of the detail, and next thing you know, there's leaf blowers going on around you, and you're
worst.
You just have to roll with it. And it never fails. Whenever we're filming, the landscapers always show up to the neighbor, right? Like right next door. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, how is it like this always happens, you know? And I've had a few where we've talked, you know, to the landscape guys, and just be like, give me like 10 minutes, you know, I'm almost done. Like, and then, you know, I'll move it into the garage after that. Like, just let us finish the outside. And they'll be like standing there like, what the fuck are these guys doing out there? Like, making videos in the driveway. We got a job to do, you know? I'm like, I respect it, you guys, you know, and like, it's the ones that are like just blowing stuff around everywhere, like, you know, and like you see me over here washing a car, you know, it's.
I've got one client, and for some, whatever, I go usually on Fridays for her as well, and that's when the neighbor across the street has their landscaper come, and she's always like, we're outside talking, and the guy pulls up, and she like hates him. He's just doing his job, and she hates him because she loves her car so much. She's like, oh, he's just gonna blow everything everywhere.
Now, you being out here in California, there's so many rules and regulations with the water. I know I've seen another guy on there that just got a ticket recently in certain areas. Yep. Have you had to deal with that at all, where like the city pulls up? Or?
Yeah. So again, there's so many. So within San Diego Canyon, there's Oceanside is its own separate thing. There's their own separate department. Carlsbad has theirs. I think it's neat. Like there's different pockets, right? Yeah. So you kind of have to go through and make sure you're good with everyone. Or I mean.
Are you supposed to have a business license in each one of those?
If you're going out, technically you should. Yeah, so, and each county's different, right? Some, like San Diego County is very, very easy in the sense of like, it's one flat rate. I think it's, I don't know, $59 a year or something like that for your business. Like, it's really easy. Versus Carlsbad wants, I can't remember what their base is, but then they also want a percentage of your gross. And then and when you sign up, they want, it says that they're allowed to audit you at any time to make sure. I'm like, never mind, guys. That's crazy.
And then aren't you supposed to have some type of like water reclamation, like mats or something where you collect the water?
So I always did that, especially when I first started. It adds so much time. You lay out your mat, do your job, pull the car off, reclaim all the water, roll it up. It's messy. It's a pain.
And then what do you do with all that?
So when I was doing it all the time, I had an actual trailer and it had a whole reclamation system, so it stored 50 gallons or something like that. And you know, you're washing the car, I probably used 10 to 15 gallons or something like that. And then there is some just evaporation. So when you're actually sucking it up, you're only getting, you know, you're not getting a ton. Nowadays, what I typically do is set up a little vacuum system. And so the water's running off and I just put it down the drain so it picks up 99%. I'm sure, honestly, if a city official came by and wanted to be...
You're like, dude, I'm trying, man. Like,
what do you want
me to do, man?
Exactly. So there was one situation a long, long time ago when I still ran out of my trailer. I was in Oceanside, which they have their own thing, and I didn't know I had to set up a separate business license there and all that. And someone came by, I was working on some cars, and she came over, she's like, she checked for my business license, she goes, yeah, I don't have it. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I have Sandy. I didn't, you know, I thought it was all the same. And she was cool, but there was a little trickle of water going out from underneath my trailer out into the street. She's like, yeah, you know, she was like, kind of got on me about that. Again, just a warning. But she left, I'm terrified. And then I go around, I look towards the front of my, there's a downspout from the building.
Going under you.
I wasn't leaking, it was that thing, dude. Come on, I wish I wasn't so nervous I could have like explained, like, look, it's not me, you know?
That's coming from up there. It's like
exactly. So, but yeah, Sandy, it gets a little bit rough, it gets a little rough on that, but like the reclamation mat, it adds so much, you know, time.
Complete pain in the ass, it seems like. Like, I don't think that I could do, if that was part of the business that I had to do on a regular basis, I think I'd be jumping businesses to something else.
Honestly, they're dangerous because they get very slick. Especially your phone.
And then what? So you got all the water, now what are you supposed to do? Where are you supposed to dump it?
So, I know.
Like, it's got to go somewhere.
It's right? Most of the houses will have, like, you know, like if you have an RV, I guess you can't, like, you can put it down a toilet, or
you're gonna drag that reclamation mat in your house.
Well, no. So you reclaim it into the tank, and then you run a hose out of that into wherever you're going. So we had a thing outside of the house that you could open up. It's just they don't want it going into the stormwater. Because it's directly into the ocean. It's directly in. So, and I get that. I grew up surfing my whole life. After
most
rains,
of it dries up before it even gets to a drain. You know what I mean? Like, I've had the Karens in Vegas come after me for that too, where they're like, not the city, but just the neighborhood Karens, where they're like, oh, this water's running in front of my driveway, and I'm like,
it'll dry in
yeah,
a
I'm like,
few minutes.
it's spot-free water and pH neutral soap. It'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but it's all, you know, are you gonna clean this up? And I'm like, it'll be gone, and like, just come back in 30 minutes.
Just say yes, I will.
It'll be gone, you know. I've only had the city one time approach me. They're not that strict in Vegas, but I did have one roll up on me one time and say, did I have a city license there?
Sure.
Which I am licensed, but like you said, you have to be licensed in each one, which I'm not. And the guy was pretty cool about it.
Yeah.
He was just like, look, man, you know, you need to get that done. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that. And I was like, you
Never
know,
even seen it.
yeah, like I'll roll the dice with that if I'm got a gamble on it.
Yeah,
because it's pretty, you know, it's a few $100s per county or per city or whatever over there, you know.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's crazy. San Diego's really cheap on that.
It's a little more pricey over there, but they're not trying to get percentages or anything like that, you know. Yeah,
that's insane. And then the whole thing, I was like, the whole thing of like, oh, we can audit you if we need to. I'm like, no way, because otherwise it's like, yeah, I did. If I look at that one little, and it's a small percentage, but still, then you're opening yourself up to an audit. I was like, no, no. That's my biggest fear is audits.
Yeah.
Well, I do everything legit, but still, I'm like, if I'm missing I just don't want to open up that can of worms.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for a while, and I know we got a training going on out here too. We jumped in. We jumped in here to do a little quick video for you guys, and it ended up being a lot longer. But I feel like there was some good value in there, man.
For sure.
I really enjoyed chopping it up with you guys like you, and it's just like fun to talk about the industry with people that have been in it and they get it. They've been there and they've had those experiences. And you know, my channel is all about sharing that with the other guys out there that are on that journey.
Yep.
And I'm sure yours is the same too, about helping other detailers. And,
yeah, for sure. But like, again, I think yours is so direct to, like, especially if you're looking at getting into it or you've been in it and you want to see what other people are doing, you know, like that's.
Yeah. Well, my channel is set up for helping other detailers.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking for potential spam. Now we're gonna
those ones are okay.
Potential spam. I'm not looking for clients out of the YouTube side of it. You know, where I have like Google and Instagram is set up more as a portfolio for that, right? Where if they want to see what cars I'm doing, cool, go to my Instagram. You can see all the cars. Check out my Google. But the YouTube is more catered towards helping detailers in their journey and helping them level up.
Yeah, for sure. I actually, sometimes I'll get a new customer and I'll go out to their house and get started. Like, yeah, watch your YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, crap. Because I know they're going to want to talk.
I had one last week, actually.
Really?
He's like, don't worry. He's like, I saw your videos. And he's like, I got cash for you so you don't have to pay the processing fee on your credit card machine because I made a video about that. You know, it's just like, cool, man, cool, you know.
Very good. Everyone's always super nice and stuff, but it's true. It's like as you're trying to work, especially polishing, they're trying to talk. You're like, I always stop every time. Like,
I always get them when it's right when you're in that critical stage where like all the soap's starting to dry in the car. You're working on a black car in the sun, and then they want to come up and talk.
You're like, I gotta get this off.
I'm like, I don't mean to cut you short, man, but this is like really time sensitive shit that's going on here, so I gotta cut it, you know. But anyways, man, I really appreciate you taking the time today, man. I hope we can do it again sometime, whether on the podcast or live or something.
Absolutely.
So when we get a little more time and
we're not, at least we're not too far from 4.5, 5 hour drive.
Yeah, next time I'll probably fly out. I think maybe, but I don't know.
So every time I go to SEMA, I still just drive it, just because where I live to the airport and then checking in early enough. I'm like,
it's almost a wash when you figure all that. And I get to take my special pillow with me. You know? That too, everything. So
a lot of my clients are like, "Hey, if I start a YouTube channel, will I get clients? You've been there for 5 years. How many clients do you get a month?"
You know what? I don't know that number. But to be fair, so interesting enough, when I first started the YouTube channel, I would never mention my business name. Once I started doing like just the normal stuff, but I would always have my business shirt on, and like I told you, I have the one specific area that I really optimize. The other one never got, I mean, maybe, I don't know, a few hundred hits a month. And then just from having in the YouTube channel and having the logo there, it spiked to thousands. So, and I never even mentioned it. It was just people saw it.
That's
So
still going to your website.
that's going to my but it was my not my sales site, my actual detail business. Yeah. So and I did get more calls. Also, I was optimizing a lot more, like doing Google ads and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, I didn't track if it was from that or the other. But yeah, the YouTube channel definitely did help promote the business for
if someone
sure.
wants to start a YouTube channel to grow their detailing business, would you advise it? Or
100%.
Really?
I think so, because right, Google's #1 search engine, YouTube's #2. So, but I think if you're doing it to build your your detailing business, be very targeted, right? And like each title would be whatever specific area you want. Car detailing, next one ceramic coating, and just be very targeted, so you come off as the expert in that zone. And then I think that'd be good for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Cool. All right, guys.
I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, dude.
All right,
Absolutely.
man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.